Welcome to USMLE SART. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
Thank you for joining us for this special webinar. Today we have our guest, Dr. Shreya Diogre, and she has been helping our students in their research journey for the past maybe 1.5, 2 years, and a very accomplished publisher. She is very prolific, and this has been her mission to help students, especially those who are in their USMLE journey. So, Shreya, before we start, why don't we kick it off with a brief introduction about you, and then, the questions that we have from the students, I'll just ask you those.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Pawan, for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Shreya Diogre. I'm a dermatologist practicing in India and the founder and CEO of the Good Research Project. During my research journey, it started with my ICMR STS project in the first year of medical school, and I received good guidance for it, but ultimately it wasn't published in a good journal. It ended up being published in a predatory journal, and at that time, I wasn't really aware about what is predatory journal, what are the good journals. And eventually, during my residency year in India, I got to know about all these things. Later on, I realized that there is lots of misconception about this everywhere among students, especially. So that is how this is one of the main motive of the Good Research Project, to promote genuine ethical research and also to get it published in good and genuine journals, not in predatory journals. The Good Research Project was started in the year 2022, around May, June, July, somewhere around that time, when I just completed my residency, and I got several requests from students to help me with their research projects. And that is how I started. During my journey and during my rotations in the US for the fellowships, I realized what are the research fellows doing there differently? How are they able to publish several articles in a year? And I just gathered all those ideas and tried to put all those things in the Good Research Projects and in the research projects that you will be working with me. So this is a brief overview of the Good Research Project. In the last 2 years, I can say that I have mentored around 1,000 students, around 120 plus research projects have been organized and conducted. There are more than 60 publications as of now. Around 50 to 60 of them are under peer review, or they are currently ongoing projects at the Good Research Project. So this is just a very brief overview about myself, my journey, and the Good Research Project. I am working as an assistant professor in dermatology right now. So I think we should focus more on the USMLE part, and let's get started.
Yes. So, just some of the housekeeping. We will take questions in the chat and we'll go sequentially. I think first we want to handle students who are applying for this match, and then, kind of go over questions that students may have, those who are applying for in September 2025 or later. So I think the very first question is research compulsory for applying for match? And if yes, how many research publications do I need?
Yes, so that is a very common question and a good question, in fact. So to apply for match, there are basically three things which are very necessary. Firstly, the USMLEs. Second are your rotations and the letter of recommendations that you get out of your rotations. These are like the main two things. Other than that, your personal statement and your CV. Okay, this is really important. Research is optional. Research is nowhere written to be a compulsory thing. But then the question comes, why do we need research? The reason is that everyone is giving USMLEs, but what separates you from the others? That is your overall application, and that is research. Having good number of publications is really very important. Because it helps you build your CV. It helps you not only in residency, but also in your fellowship applications. And it helps you to stand out from others who do not have research or any other kind of experience which is extracurricular. So I'll be sharing my screen, and just to give you a brief overview about the number of publications that are needed. So every year after the match, NRMP collects data from the applicants. They send applicants an emails with a questionnaire, and they are supposed to respond to it. Not everyone responds, but I hope most of them do, at least half of them. They collect the data and present it as the matching outcomes for international medical graduates each year, almost every year. The last data that they have on website is of 2022. And if you can see on my screen, I have simplified it. It's a very long file, around 100 pages. And you can even find the scores that the USMLE applicants have, the average score that a matched and unmatched applicants might have. So to focus on research, if you can see my screen here, I have just given the mean number. You can see that this is the mean number of abstracts, presentations, and publications of IMGs. This I have posted it on my Instagram page, the Good Research Project, also available on the USMLE Sarthi page, so you can just go and have a look at it. So for some of the subjects which are considered to be non-competitive, like pediatrics, internal medicine, emergency medicine, psychiatry, anesthesiology, even for them, the mean number of abstracts and publications and presentations was like 5 or 6 or 9 for the matched applicants. I'm not saying about unmatched, I'm telling you about the matched applicants. So getting 5 publications is not an easy task, but still you can see the number of publications, which is the mean number of publications. So half of them might be having like lesser number of publications, and the other half of the cohort might be having some more number of publications, and that is how you come at the mean number. If you look at some of the competitive specialities like patho, neuro, the average number of these publications are even higher, even for diagnostic radiology, general surgery, and mat, plastic surgery, neurological surgery, and orthopedic surgery. The number is even way more higher. It's been highlighted in pink over here, if you are able to see. The catch over here is that, it does not distinguish, the research based on if, the type of research that you are doing. Is it like a case report? Is it original article? Is it just a letter to editor? Is it systematic review? Is it meta-analysis or a narrative review? They do not differentiate in between all these different types of research publications. Second point, there is no criteria mentioned about the authorship position. Third point is that it does not differentiate if your article was published in a PubMed index journal or a journal which was indexed with Scopus, Web of Science, DOAJ, Index Copernicus. There is no such differentiation of the publications given over here. Even for the conferences, have you presented it in a national conference, an international, or a conference which was held in USA? These differentiation is not made. So if a student asks me like, okay, I'm trying to get into internal medicine, what is the number of publications that I need to match? What my reply is that research is not necessary to even apply or to even match. But to stand out from your competitors, you need to have a minimum of 6 for internal medicine, 6 for pediatrics. And that is how I tell each and everyone who approaches me with their specialty of choice. So I would say research is really important, but it is not compulsory.
Okay, thank you for this very extensive answer. So now let's dive into, to help the folks who are applying in this season. So if let's say they are applying in September, is there still time to work with you on research?
Yes, definitely there is time to work with me on research. We have this program known as the Rapid Affordable Research, which is known as RAR, wherein I teach about the original research articles in a very simple to understand way. And one research can be completed in a duration of 2 to 3 weeks. and can be submitted in the journal and also mentioned in your ERAS CV. So yes, since it's still July 19th today, you can participate in at least 2 research projects with us in August and 2 in September, 1 in July because we still have time. So yes, you can definitely work on like 4, 5 or 6 research projects with us before you apply for the match.
And Asifa from our team is here in chat. So if you have questions, she's posting the link to Dr. Shriya's research, and you can ask her, or you can send us an email also. So Shriya, if you want to post the email ID, and if students have questions, then they can email us, and there are also some attractive discounts as well. Okay, so the next question I have is, let's say I join the research. Now, how do we write about our research experience in the ERAS CV?
Yes, that is very important that you clearly mention your experience and what part of research did you work in. So I'll again share the screen and I'll directly talk about ERAS. So you can just Google the 2025 ERAS worksheet or the workbook, and you will be able to find a big document around 25-30 pages long, or maybe even bigger. And there are many different columns, and students often get confused. Where should I enter? What should I write? So the first place where you can mention about research is in your experiences. If you go to this experience type and go for a drop down list, there is something known as research. Select it. The organization, you can write our name. The title, you can write it as investigator, and then you have to mention other details. What context, role, and responsibilities you should write about the type of research article that you are working on and what is your role in that. Okay, this is very necessary that you explain how did you do it. You can also mention the setting as virtual, and this is really very good because most of the times everyone thinks that research, especially the original research, is only done in hospital settings, but no, it's not necessary. We can do it virtually as well. So this is the first place where you can describe your research experience. Secondly, all published articles. I'm not just saying PubMed indexed, all published articles, whether they are indexed with PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science, DOAJ, Index Copernicus, all of the articles which have been published in peer-reviewed journals can be mentioned in this publication section. Okay, you can write the name, title of the article, author's name, publication name, everything, And if the article is accepted in a PubMed index journal, you can write the PubMed Medline unique identifier number as well. It's not compulsory, but you can write it. You need to mention volume, number, pages, and all these things can be found in the citation of your article. Okay, the most important thing that I want to tell you is that when a reviewer or someone from the review team will see your application, all the articles, be it if they are indexed in PubMed or not, will be presented at the same place to them. There is no separate column or there's no distinction for a PubMed indexed article and the articles which are not indexed with PubMed. So you need to be aware about this. Okay. So the aim is to get as many publications as possible to match that average number that I showed earlier, and not just aim for PubMed index journals, because getting publication in a PubMed index journal is tough. It's not very easy, it's time consuming as well. The next thing is the submitted or the accepted articles, which are not yet published. It can be mentioned in the peer-reviewed journals, articles or abstracts other than published. Again, there is a drop down here and you can mention if the article is submitted, provisionally accepted or in press. So these are the articles which are submitted or accepted but yet to be published in the journal. You can very well mention them. You can mention book chapters also if you have written any, but I don't think undergrads would be involved in writing book chapter. That's really very rare. Finally, other type of articles which might not be fitting into the earlier criteria can be mentioned here. Your poster and paper presentation can also be mentioned in your ERA CV under this column. So again, as I said, it does not distinguish between where was the poster or paper presented. Was it an national conference, a regional conference, or an international conference? So try to present as many posters and papers as possible for you to increase the number so that you meet the average requirements.
Okay.
Virtually available publications, this can be something confusing for few students. Many journals have stopped publishing books or volumes. They publish articles which are peer-reviewed virtually online. And this is known as peer-reviewed online publications. These journals, like, they do not have a volume or issue number, but they have a proper URL and you can mention it over here. What is non-peer reviewed online publication? So if suppose in your college there was a gathering or an event and you were asked to write something for a medical bulletin or a newsletter and you have written it, it was not peer reviewed by anyone else and you can still mention those things over here in the non-peer reviewed online publication section. To repeat again, it is really important to know that the NRMP MATCH statistics, it does not talk about the type of article, indexation or impact factor of the journal where the article was accepted, status of the article, authorship position, or the type of conference the applicant presented their poster or paper in. What it talks about is the average number of publications plus abstracts plus conference presentations of matched and unmatched applicants. So it is really necessary to try to have as many good research articles as you can to apply for the match to have a competitive CV. So this is the key takeaway point from this presentation.
Okay, thank you. And we are getting questions. So just be assured that if you enroll for Dr. Shriya's course, there will be a detailed class on how to mention your research project in ERAS. So this is a high level overview that we are giving, but she'll provide the details in that detailed class. So before I ask you the next question, there is a question. If I'm applying for match in pathology, should I have publications only in pathology or other branch of medicine will work?
Okay, so this is a query from a student side. Looking from
Yes.
it from a faculty perspective, in my opinion, while selecting applicants, the reviewers, they are trying to see if the applicant is interested in research and extracurricular activities, and are they interested in the advancement of medical science through research or not. This is the main thing that they are looking at. Everyone knows that a medical student will be rotating in their medical colleges during internship in different departments. And suppose if I'm applying for pathology, but I am rotating in at PEDS and I see a good case report, I write it. So it does not reduce your chances of applying for pathology. Okay, that is completely incorrect concept, but you can have as many publications spread across specialties as you can. And it's totally okay if you have publications in different specialties, but you are trying to apply for pathology. The catch here is that pathology is an integral part of all the clinical subjects. Okay, so yes, you can definitely have research in different specialties. Maybe for the very competitive specialties like vascular surgery, for dermatology, you need to have at least 50% or more of your research work in that specialty.
Okay. Now, for those of us who may enroll with you, given that only 2 months are left, so I know you have strategies and tips around how to maximize your article writing. So, let's say 3 articles in a month. So, can you talk a bit? Can you give us some tips on how to write 2 or 3 articles in a month?
Yes, that's a question which is like very trending these days, and I get lots of queries about how can I write 2 or 3 articles before the match. So at the Good Research Project, new topics for original research articles are started. The batches are started on 5th and 20th of all months. And you can join both these courses together. These are not courses, we work on actual research, we collect data, we write article, and we submit it for publication in a journal. So you can join, and when you're working on a research batch which starts on 5th, you are able to complete it by 20th, and then you start another research batch and you are able to complete it by 5th of next month. So it gives you like a 15 days time span when you can focus on one research and next research for the next 15 days. So this is one thing. Plus, you would not have to dedicate lots and lots of time, like something around like 6 to 8 hours overall for one research project is more than sufficient. So you can join 2 research projects of original article at once. The third thing is a letter to editor. So letter to editor is something which is very underestimated, but it carries a lot of weightage because you are talking about something which is trending, a new topic in healthcare. You can look at Course C, which is a letter to editor. It is a short article which is written in around 500 to 750 words, just with like 5 references, and most of the students complete it in within like 3 days or some of them in 5 days. So while you are working on these 2 researches, you can also join a letter to editor with us and work on it simultaneously. So 2 original articles and 1 letter to editor makes it 3 articles, which you can submit it in a journal in 1 month. So this is how you can work, and we do have combo courses for it as well.
Okay, thank you. And there are a lot of questions, and we have only 5 minutes left. So let me just go through some of the questions. So if we enroll in your course, how will the guidance work? Will we have live sessions also, or only recorded classes?
If you are not able to attend the live session, you get the recordings in the group itself. You can watch it at your convenience because students are with us from across the world. So we need to look at it as well. It's a totally guided session. A very specific task is allotted to each student. You just need to complete your task and move ahead. First, the data is collected. A deadline is set for like 3 to 5 days. Once we have the data, a statistical analysis is done by an expert statistician in a span of like 2 to 3 days. And after that, the task of article writing is given. Each person is allotted a separate task. And in a group, if everyone works on different parts of the article, you are able to complete it in like say 3 or 5 days. After that, the article is edited and submitted to the journal.
Okay. What type of research articles will we be working in RAR course? Is it a systematic review? And then the related question is, what is the difference between systematic review and narrative review?
Okay, so you will be working in RAR on original research, which will be of observational type, observational study design. It can be either cross-sectional study or a retrospective study design. And for more details, I've explained it in very detail actually in the course A, which is Introduction to Research and Publication. These are not review articles. Again, on my Instagram, I have a post, what is the difference between original research and a review article. In original research, you actually work on a data. Okay, a data which is collected from patients or something which is related to healthcare. You collect a de novo or a new data. Okay, not a published data. In review articles, you review. Review is made of 2 words, re and view. You review the articles which have been already published. So you collect data. You don't collect data actually, you analyze data from the already published articles. This is the big and the main difference. In fact, for those aiming for, PLAB and UKMLEs, original research article is given like 8 points and review articles are given like 2 points. They have a scoring system which is not there for USMLE applicants. Plus, why I teach original research is that when you go into residency, you are expected to know how you are going to conduct a research study, how you are going to write an article, an original research article. And there are some standard guidelines which have to be followed to write an original research article. And I teach it in my research class. And if you just take down those guidelines and write your own original research articles, it will be complete. You won't miss out any point over there. So that's the reason I am focusing only on the original research article.
Okay. Then one question, you have mentioned original studies. How will we acquire ethics or research board approval?
So ethics or research committee approval is only needed in case you are directly collecting data from human participants. We are collecting data indirectly through virtually or through data sets that are freely available. And for these kind of research studies, you do not need ethics committee approval. In case the journal needs it, I have an ethics committee attached with me, and they can give you approval in like 10 days or 15 days. So that's not something to worry about.
Okay. What will be the position title when we work with you?
So if you are working on any research, you will be an investigator for that research. So that's what the title should be.
Okay. Well, I think that was all that we had. So I want to thank you for a very great session. And thank you all for joining us. As Asifa is posting, if you have any questions, get in touch with us, email us, and we will be in touch. And, if you are interested, join the research course now so you can get up to 2 or
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.